Hello, Linda here, and allow me to thank you for visiting my website. For the next 10 minutes, I'll share with you a very personal story of mine. A story of how I discovered a natural and holistic system that has since helped thousands of women around the world to receive safe and effective relief from the symptoms of yeast infection. If you're suffering from fishy odor, frequent infections, painful penetration, frequent burning urination, itching, then there's a good chance that you're suffering from a type of yeast infection. In fact, I'm pretty sure the reason why you're watching this video right now is because you still haven't found relief from the torment that is yeast infection. Believe me, I know what you're going through. I know how tiring it is to constantly worry about the fishy odors coming out of our most private of areas. How aggravating it is to constantly resist the urge to scratch that itch when you're out in public. Let me ask you this. What would it mean to you to never feel embarrassed about your vaginal odor ever again, never experience itching or burning again, never have to deal with messy discharge again, never have to waste money on counterproductive products again, never feel dirty again, never have to endure embarrassing doctor visits again? I can tell you right here and now that my system has successfully helped a staggering 15,000 women worldwide to regain their freedom and break free from the vicious cycle of yeast infection. With that many satisfied customers, there's really no reason to assume that my system would not work on you. People like Janet H. from Queensland, Australia. Allow me to start this testimony by saying, thank you so much for the ebook. Everything in this book really helped me and has truly been a blessing for me. I am so grateful for this ebook. And even Nathan P. from Ontario, Canada wrote in, proving that my system is effective for both men and women. I was a candida infection sufferer, but now all of my symptoms have disappeared. I have read many books on candida, and this one is the best by far. Yeast Blueprint, that's my book. By following the suggested supplement along with the restricted diet, I was able to cure my candida in less than 4 months. I also lost 36 pounds. This book is highly recommended. Thanks. And now that I've got your attention, allow me to formally introduce myself. My name is Linda Westwood, and I'm the author of Yeast Blueprint, a step-by-step guide that will take you by the hand and show you the exact steps you need to permanently eliminate your yeast infection forever. Please spare a few minutes of your time to watch my video through to the end. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. And just as you are looking for the best solution right now, I was thinking at the time for an instant relief for my infection. I wanted the bad odor, itch, and discomfort gone, as they were giving me the worst experience ever. At the same time, I was looking for ways to avoid spending much money on costly medical treatments. I've struggled and battled candida for years and years, in an effort not just to get well, but also to remain well. I got so frustrated at times because many of the treatments that I thought would get rid of candida for good turned out to be a disappointment, as the symptoms would just reappear. Not to mention the nasty side effects that came with those expensive but ineffective treatments. I first noticed the symptoms of candidosis shortly after celebrating my 29th birthday. At first, the symptoms were mild and negligible, and I thought little of it. But soon, things started going downhill fast. And that was the start of a very long and agonizing period in my life. I was soon forced to come to terms with the fact that I had developed a severe yeast infection. As the infection was becoming more and more frequent, and also difficult to control, I naturally went to a GP expecting him to help me get well. He prescribed me a tube of a 3-day antifungus, anti-yeast brand name cream, and I thought that would be the end of it. 3 more OTC treatments later, I still had the infection. The medicines just seemed to relieve the symptoms for a few days before they came back with a vengeance. My GP then suggested putting me on a weekly dose of an antifungal brand drug, which I agreed in desperation. I was now months into my agony and constant suffering. I took the pill every Sunday. 6 weeks into the antifungal regimen, I still wasn't satisfied. The pill indeed seemed to keep the symptoms at bay, but toward the end of the week, usually Thursday or Friday, the burning, itchiness, and discharge seemed to slowly reoccur, as if waiting for the next shot of the drug. I truly felt that the infection was still there, but was being masked by the treatment. My condition inevitably affected my sex life, as it rather limited the frequency of sex with my husband. Usually, when we did have sex, it was very painful for me, and it felt very tight. Not to mention the fishy smell and the excessive discharge. Sometimes after sex, the entrance to my vagina swelled and felt very tender, and could take a couple of days to heal. A lot of times I would decide to just forego having sex, rather than dealing with the unpleasant odor. Even when I washed, the smell would just come right back. It all made me feel really depressed, frustrated, and angry. I felt that conventional medicine had let me down, and it was then I decided to take control of my own health. I searched for a solution on my own. Enough is enough, I finally said. I redoubled my efforts to find an answer to my very pressing health problem. That's when I literally threw myself into the topic. With years dedicated to finding the right solution to get rid of my yeast infection, I found the solution to my predicament. I have met all doctors, gathered and verified information from clinical research, tried and tested several remedies and treatments. I was able to come up with the solution coming from those that worked with proven results. Essentially, I've elevated myself from an ordinary person suffering from the worst yeast disorder to an expert in the treatment of yeast infection. I put together a plan using all the research I could find and create action steps that have worked to help me get rid of my yeast infection. After just 1 week, I was able to regain my energy and vitality, and in the following 6 weeks, there was a massive improvement in my symptoms. Not only was I able to get rid of my yeast infection, but by following my new system, I had been able to prevent the symptoms from coming back. I've been yeast-free for a little over a year now, living a happy, fulfilling life free of yeast infection. And finally, now I'd like to help you. I created Yeast Blueprint to help women like you and I, whose long battles with yeast infection have lasted for years. My research has led me to some amazing discoveries that will help you get rid of yeast infections once and for all. The only holistic system in existence that will teach you how to tackle the root cause and symptoms of yeast infection and bacterial vaginosis, permanently cure yeast infection once and for all, rapidly stop skin yeast infections, get relief from burning, itching, painful urination, or vaginal discharge, regain your good health and vitality, gain complete relief in 10 hours, and much, much more. So, what do you say? Are you ready to get rid of your yeast infection? I know the burden and stranglehold this infection is having on your life. I am 100% confident that with my help, you can permanently get rid of your yeast infection just as I did. You now have 2 choices. You can try to reinvent the wheel and find out the hard way which method works and which doesn't, or simply decide to invest a mere $37 and get instant access. Trust me, this could very well be the best investment you'll ever make. Yeast Blueprint will teach you everything you need to know about yeast infection and how to get rid of it fast and effectively. Instantly downloadable, saves you thousands on ineffective, harmful treatments, saves you money on feminine hygiene products, gives you your life back. But that's not all. If you order Yeast Blueprint today, you will also receive these 3 bonuses. Bonus 1. Candida-friendly recipes. Bonus 2. The Essential Guide to Cure Chlamydia. What you only need to do right now is to act and start to benefit from the Fast Yeast Infection Cure, my ebook that details the best solution I had figured out from several years of research, tests, and trials. You can get it risk-free. If the solution I have presented in the ebook does not benefit you at all, you can always get an easy refund of your hard-earned money. With nothing to lose and everything to gain in getting rid of yeast infection, why wait when you can benefit right at this very moment?